now a verb synonymous with digital payments for millions of Indian consumers, shopkeepers, merchants and small businesses. We started in 2009 as an online recharge platform with a mission to build a mobile-first digital payments platform for India. In 3 years, we added payment gateway services, and today we are the largest payment gateway aggregator in India. Paytm Wallet was launched in 2014 and became widely accepted among first-time mobile payment users too. In 2015, we pioneered QR code-based payments for in-store merchants, paving the way for the cashless payments revolution in India. We also added more use cases, including ticketing and bill payments. Paytm Payments Bank was launched in 2017, was awarded the Payments Bank license in 2017, and within 4 years of launch, our associate company, Paytm Payments Bank, has the largest scale amongst all payment banks in India with 65 million savings accounts. It is also the largest issuer of FASTags in the country. In the last 3 years, we have added more services, including Paytm Money for wealth management, Paytm Postpaid for all your credit needs, and Paytm First Games. For merchants, we have expanded into smart payment devices such as Android POS machines and Paytm Soundbox.
पेटीएम पर 50 रुपए प्राप्त हुए।
Today, we are a payments-led super app with the widest array of digital products and services for our consumers, and with comprehensive online and in-store payments offerings including Paytm payment instruments. For merchants, our offerings are aimed at enabling them to grow their business by accepting all online and in-store payments, acquiring and retaining consumers, improving operations via software and cloud services, and accessing financial services such as banking, wealth, and credit facilities. Our mission is to bring 500 million Indians into the mainstream economy, and our journey has just begun.
पेटीएम करो।
India, with over 500 million smartphone users and a GDP of $2.7 trillion US, is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Paytm is the country's largest digital payments platform. The phrase Paytm Karo is now a verb synonymous with digital payments for millions of Indian consumers, shopkeepers, merchants and small businesses. We started in 2009 as an online recharge platform with a mission to build a mobile-first digital payments platform for India. In 3 years, we added payment gateway services, and today we are the largest payment gateway aggregator in India. Paytm Wallet was launched in 2014 and became widely accepted among first-time mobile payment users too. In 2015, we pioneered QR code-based payments for in-store merchants, paving the way for the cashless payments revolution in India. We also added more use cases, including ticketing and bill payments. Paytm Payments Bank was launched in 2017, was awarded the Payments Bank license in 2017, and within 4 years of launch, our associate company, Paytm Payments Bank, has the largest scale amongst all payment banks in India with 65 million savings accounts. It is also the largest issuer of FASTags in the country. In the last 3 years, we have added more services, including Paytm Money for wealth management, Paytm Postpaid for all your credit needs, and Paytm First Games. For merchants, we have expanded into smart payment devices such as Android POS machines and Paytm Soundbox.
पेटीएम पर 50 रुपए प्राप्त हुए।
Today, we are a payments-led super app with the widest array of digital products and services for our consumers, and with comprehensive online and in-store payments offerings including Paytm payment instruments. For merchants, our offerings are aimed at enabling them to grow their business by accepting all online and in-store payments, acquiring and retaining consumers, improving operations via software and cloud services, and accessing financial services such as banking, wealth, and credit facilities. Our mission is to bring 500 million Indians into the mainstream economy, and our journey has just begun.
पेटीएम करो.
Good evening, everyone. Speaking on behalf of 197 Communications Limited, I'm Lamit Jaisingh from Concept PR and your moderator for this virtual brokers and analyst event. I would take this opportunity to thank you for taking out your time from your busy schedules to join us. We appreciate your presence and extend a very warm welcome to all of you. The objective of today's live session is to understand 197 Communications' interest in raising finance, why an initial public offering, and what they do as a business organization. Under a normal circumstance, this would have been an on-ground event, but we all are getting accustomed to this as a safer and more convenient format of attending and conducting the roadshow. We hope you gather the same or a better experience from the comfort of your home and office. Before I review the functionality of the webinar, I would like to bring to light that 197 Communications is India's leading digital ecosystem for consumers and merchants. They offer payment services, commerce, and cloud services and financial services to 337 million consumers and over 21.8 million merchants registered with them as of June 30th, 2021. The two-sided ecosystem enables commerce and provides access to financial services, making it available across the country to hundreds of millions of Indian consumers, shopkeepers, merchants, and small businesses. Moving ahead, you'll be kept on mute throughout the event, and all questions will be answered via the Q&A chat box only, where you can type your question in session or at the end of the webinar. Would request all participants to please limit yourself to 3 questions if possible, and use a lowercase font when typing the question. If we miss answering any of your questions, don't worry. You can email us at ipoteam@conceptpr.com, and we will try to be swift in responding back to you. Going forward, it's a great pleasure to introduce our speakers today. From the company, we have Mr. Vijay Shekhar Sharma, Founder, Managing Director, and CEO, Mr. Madhur Deora, President and Group CFO, Mr. Vikas Garg, Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Bhavesh Gupta, CEO, Lending Business. The representation from the book running lead managers are Mr. Samad Jagani, Executive Director, Head of India Global Capital Markets, Morgan Stanley India Company Private Limited, Mr. Sudarshan Ramakrishnan, Managing Director, Goldman Sachs Securities Private Limited, Mr. Salil Pitte, Joint Managing Director and Co-CEO, Axis Capital Limited, Mr. Amrut Kalantri, Vice President Investment Banking, ICICI Securities Limited, Mr. Abhinav Bharti, Executive Director, Head of Equity Capital Markets India, JP Morgan India Private Limited, and Mr. Pankaj Jain, Director, Head India Technology, Citigroup Global Markets India Private Limited, and Mr. Ajay Pancholi, Head Equity Capital Markets, HDFC Bank Limited. On behalf of the company and lead managers to the issue, let me thank all participants for being a part of this session. I now invite Mr. Salil Pitte from Axis Capital to deliver the opening remark and commence this broker and analyst meet. Over to you, Salil.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Salil Pitte from Axis Capital, and on behalf of Axis Capital and my fellow BRLMs, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citi, ICICI Securities, and HDFC Securities, I welcome you all to this virtual broker and analyst conference of 197 Communications IPO, known to all of us as Paytm. I'd also like to welcome the core team at Paytm who are here to talk to you. Vijay Shekhar Sharma, the founder, Madhur Deora, the president and group CFO, Bhavesh Gupta, the CEO of the lending business, and Vikas Garg, the CFO of Paytm. They're not born, but they are made. And today, Vijay Shekhar Sharma and the stellar team and business that he has created at Paytm in a very short span of time. The Paytm Karo is a tagline that resonates in all our minds, across age groups and throughout the length and breadth of India. This is testimony to the strong brand of Paytm and, more importantly, the creation of a digital payments business culture across the country under the leadership of Vijay and his team. As Paytm gets into the public markets, Paytm's IPO will be the largest IPO in India's history. And over a decade after Coal India, which was the last largest IPO, this also marks the evolution of our markets, as we see many high-quality businesses of size and scale getting created with a fantastic mix of technology and enterprise, and these getting recognized by markets as the key businesses and wealth creators of the future. We at Axis Capital are extremely privileged to be associated with Paytm, which is India's leading digital ecosystem for consumers and merchants, offering payment services, commerce and cloud services, and financial services. Paytm has no doubt been a pioneer in mobile payments in India and one of the country's best known and biggest startups in the fintech space. Founded by an extremely passionate entrepreneur in Vijay, the company has been backed by some very high quality investors, or global investors, including the Alibaba Group, Elevation Capital, SoftBank, and Berkshire Hathaway, among others. Paytm effectively started the digital revolution in India, growing from just a payments platform in 2009 to becoming India's leading digital ecosystem with over 300 million customers, consumers, and over 20 million merchants today. They have built the largest payments platform in India and leveraged their core payments platform to build an ecosystem with innovative offerings in commerce and cloud and financial services. We firmly believe that the digital ecosystem that Paytm has helped create will only grow in the coming years with the increasing pace of digitization, the penetration of the Indian financial services market, the recent regulatory initiatives provided by the Indian government, and will effectively become a habit in the usage patterns for both consumers and merchants. The key fundamentals for Paytm's success journey have been their very strong and extremely trusted brand proposition, strong product and technology capabilities, very deep insights on Indian consumers and merchants, and a very powerful network effect. The journey so far has been absolutely phenomenal. So before I invite Vijay to share more about this journey, let me quickly give you a brief on the issue details. The total issue size, IPO size, is 18,300 crores. This comprises of fresh issuance of 8,300 crores and an offer for sale of 10,000 crores by the existing holders. The price band has already been announced, and it is in the range of 2,080 rupees to 2,150 rupees per share with a lot size of 6 shares. The issue opens for subscription immediately after Diwali on Monday, 8th of November, and closes on Wednesday, the 10th of November. We're doing the anchor book pre-Diwali on Wednesday, the 3rd of November for subscription. We have already received very strong interest from marquee foreign as well as domestic investors, even in the midst of this huge IPO rush. And this is really a testimony to how investors have acknowledged the quality of the company and the business that they've built over the years. So let me now invite Vijay to walk us through the Paytm story. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pitle. Over to Vijay Shekhar, sir, and Mother to take you through the investor presentation and how the journey has been for Paytm and its growth.
Thank you, Lalit, and thank you, Salil, for kind words. It's incredible movement, as you said it. I believe it is coming of an age of Indian startup ecosystem, technology companies, and it is important to note that we are a product company, and I started way back in 2001, and that was a time when companies used to be IT service companies. The best business model was identified as you can acquire customers in US and build a body shop, if you will. That's a generic name for IT service that we used to call in those days. And my pitch was that if we as entrepreneurs or technology companies do not build products for India, who will? And who would have thought that one day we can put this altruistic mission of bringing 500 million Indians to the mainstream of economy as our mission statement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Paytm's conference today. And I want to share the excitement, the euphoria that we in Paytm carry within our hearts and our souls. We believe that we will be known as the challenger and the champion. Challenger of physical world limitations, challenger of limitations in this country to do businesses on a scale, and the champion of bringing India's 500 million Indians to the mainstream of economy. And that is possible because there is a technology-led revolution that has happened in this country. And obviously our business is financial services. I believe that India will be successful as a large economy only when we are able to scale financial service deployment of a order of magnitude, bringing these formal services to the nook and corner. And that is based on fundamental philosophy that we have, that there is a internet penetration that is happening in India because there is a smartphone penetration. So India has a smartphone penetration. Madhur, can you just forward this next? India has a smartphone penetration which is growing from 450 million to 900 million in the next 5 years. And this internet user eventually starts to use mobile for some different services. And mobile payment is an anchor use case that would grow from pure 46 lakh crore to 230 lakh crore. I mean, imagine the growth that we are expecting in these space. And the beauty is that this customer who was an internet customer, became a mobile payment customer, now becomes a customer for all financial services that you can talk about. India is going to see retail credit, if you will, the retail credit from 69 lakh crore to 120 lakh crore, wealth from 70 lakh crore growing to 53 lakh crore, and insurance growing from 9 lakh crore to 17 lakh crore. All these incremental that you're quoting here, the most of this incremental business is going to come from these internet savvy smartphone users. And this also makes one of the largest financial services opportunities in the world for everyone in India. And that is the beauty. And Paytm, we address it using payments. We are the two-sided ecosystem. You know, the keyword is two-sided ecosystem, which means that we have consumer and merchant on our platform, and we don't need to use NPCI, Visa, Master, other payment network to make payment settlements. That's an important line item for everyone to remember. Because we don't use them, so our market share of using network, the UPI market share is eventually about using UPI network for the transaction. And because we don't use that, because we have two-sided ecosystem, so we use it only for a fraction when the customer is off us. And that gives us an edge in the business, unlike any other, where we are the largest payment company by user, merchant transactions and revenue. And that is the beauty about being Paytm. And remember, like I told you about, that we have 120 million transacting million users and other side ecosystem of 22 million merchants on our platform. These consumer paying to the merchant, I repeat, these consumer paying to the merchant is 4 lakh crore of GMV on our platform. This is not P2P. This is not P2P money transfer. 4 lakh crore of GMV is a commerce transaction that happened between consumer and merchant on our platform. And that is the power and the beauty of Paytm scale. We've started deploying the devices, the IoT devices that you see. There is a commitment, a bigger commitment of the merchant, because he has to give us a device subscription. He has to give us a device subscription and cloud subscription. So we are very proud of this number, because this number happened in a very short span. Now this payment business grew to financial services that I told you, 65 million payment bank account, which probably is larger than the largest private bank in the country, if you will, and then 5,800 crore of deposit. Obviously, payment bank has a deposit restriction, so you would know this. And we were able to start monetization journey literally 18 months back, and where in last 12 months, we've disbursed 6.5 million credit or loans to our consumers, obviously from our partner books. Last year, Paytm's business revenue, as you could guess, is more or less flat thanks to the COVID and so on. But the bigger magic was contribution profit, which not only first time, but gave way to the incredible growth on contribution that we see here. Now, Paytm is a two-sided ecosystem, I told you. Let's talk about consumer ecosystem. Consumer comes on Paytm platform once you have offline payment, online payment, and utility payments. Madhur, I need the second slide. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So consumer comes on our platform for online payment, offline payment, utility payment, or money transfer, these 4 use cases. And when the customer comes on our platform, he has 2 choices. One choice is that he links a bank account. And that is when he has a other bank's customer, you link a bank account, this is UPI. And other and superior choice that we love is when the customer has opened an account with us. Now, this opening an account requires a KYC, as you know. This opening an account requires deposit or advance or credit taking. So when a customer opens a credit, prepaid, or debit account with us, that customer, obviously because he's doing KYC and giving us money, has a higher retention than a pure link bank account on any app whatsoever. Also, these products, we charge 1% of MDR to the high-end merchant, larger merchants, and that means that we earn revenue on this side. Everybody in this call, I really want to tell you that a lot of people in many parts of the world, when we did the roadshow survey, we found out that they think that payment does not have revenue in this country, and Paytm's payment instruments have large revenue line item. As you could see in DRHP and RHP, we've clearly shown that that is a large revenue. Now, the customer who's come on our platform for payment and has a retention journey, we're going to give him an opportunity to buy some financial services or commerce. Both of them working with our partners, where partner will give credit, partner will create the wealth solution, partner will create insurance, or commerce, where partner will open a mini store, mini app, or for that matter, ticket booking, etc. on our platform, give us a higher and high margin monetization. So Paytm overall, if you notice, is a payment-led super app offering commerce and financial services as a monetization and scale offering for our customers. Obviously, more than 337 million customers on our platform today. So payment, commerce, financial services. Now, this is exactly what will happen on merchant side, where we will offer exactly the three services that you have a payment. So first thing that we offer our customer is a payment. Merchants are of all kinds: offline merchant, enterprise merchant, online merchant, utility merchant. Now, offline merchant take QR code or soundbox. Paytm created this pioneering QR code that you see in nook and corner of the country. Actually, this is real, that Paytm is a pioneer who brought this, and then we worked with our partners, and as you can see, NPCI and so on, to make this ubiquitously available. And then we loaded this a QR code on Soundbox, and then we gave it also on an Android device, which also can take cards on our platform. Now, you can take QR, Soundbox, POS, or if you are an online business, then we gave you a payment gateway option. Now, this is our merchant acquisition plan. Obviously, like I told you, if you are a large merchant, which is a particular threshold beyond revenues and so on, you pay for Paytm issued instrument. If you are a smaller merchant, you do not. That gives us an excess of distribution and revenue mix both. Once the merchant has started accepting payment, we enable his commerce on Paytm app. So merchant, he or him, can open a store, mini app, advertising. This is very important, guys. I really want to tell you that this can only be done by a company that has an app and that is distributed, because we can enable more commerce, and then the merchant will stay more payment, and more payment will mean more commerce. And this flywheel also gives us a superior retention and network effect on our business. Finally, once the customer has payments on our platform, enabled some commerce on our platform, we, based on various data and transaction history on this platform, are able to help our financial institution partners to create credit products and banking products and loan products, as you can see. And these products means that we can enable financial services access to the merchant, which is high margin monetization for our business. Once again, for 22 million merchant, we offer payment, commerce, and financial services. Now, this brings me to an incredible opportunity overall that you note here, that we have users who sign up for Paytm instrument. These are wallet, buy now, pay later, bank accounts. And then this creates more merchant because our instruments are available using Paytm's acquiring side solution. And this gives more use case, which in turn acquire more user. This is an incredible flywheel at a very low CAC and very high engagement. Remember, 4 lakh crore of payments from consumer to the merchant in a year run rate basis. Now, this flywheel means that we are able to monetize the customer on a scalable, meaning nearly everybody is valuable. Remember, he is KYC, bank account holder, deposit holder, credit holder, and a high margin monetization. The best part is that we can monetize payment, we can monetize cloud commerce, we can monetize financial services. Revenue in the payment, like I told you, is interchange MDR earning of payment instrument issued by Paytm family, or payment gateway for which the services are charged, or devices where there is a service subscription. So this is our payment revenue. Cloud and commerce, like I told you, merchants selling on our platform or subscribing to a cloud service, and then financial services where lending, insurance, and wealth come. This is our revenue model. This is our moat. This is our revenue. All right. Now, you know it. I don't have to say it, but we're very proud of it, so I have to say it, that Paytm is India's most valuable payment brand. Imagine a young fledgling company that started with QR code a few years back being valued as a brand 47,000 crores. And that is possible because we stand for the inclusion, we stand for the underserved, unserved market. And we believe that we have a lot to give back to the society. So that is why, from natural calamities to the situations where our family and societies need support, we are out there. And green finance is what we are champion of, thanks to the mobile-led business model instead of a commercial model based on papers. Some revenue numbers. Madhu, you want to talk about that? This is something which we are very proud of, again, that year on year, we've grown our GMV, which is the monthly payment volume of a quarter, based on consumer paying the merchant from 94,000 crore to 1,95,000 crore per quarter. Look at this. The scale is incredible and enormous. Remember, this number last year was 4 lakh crore of the year. Now we are doing nearly 2 lakh crore in a quarter. See the growth on the payment business. Obviously, the same way with the loans. Yes.
Yeah, so like we just said, we did 1 lakh crore per quarter 1 year ago, and now we are doing roughly 2 lakh crore a quarter. So basically, a little more than doubling of our GMV over the last 1 year. And our loans business, which we started really in about 1 year ago, 5 quarters ago, call it, and it did 1.4 million loans in the entire quarter, March 2021. And you can see that basically it has more than doubled in last 6 months. So that is the scale that a lot of our businesses can reach very quickly. And obviously there's a huge way to go, but this is the type of curve that we see in many of our businesses once they are launched. And most of our businesses that we do, we should point out, we do assuming that it will hit massive scale. So once the business is launched and we have the partners and we have the technology, then we assume our technology and our product is built in a manner that it can scale very, very, very fast. I'll just go to the next slide. We have been able to do all of this while become dramatically more efficient than we were a couple of years ago. So in FY19, we spent 3,400 crores in marketing and promotion costs, which is roughly 100% of our revenue, slightly more than that actually. And we decided that we are going to make our business contribution positive. At the same time, we were seeing some very good tailwinds in our business where cost of customer acquisition was going down, cost of customer retention was going down. So we were able to grow faster and faster and faster, despite reducing our marketing and promotion costs by 60% and then again by 60%. So in total, about 85% reduction in marketing and promotion costs. We took out almost 3,000 crores from marketing on an annual basis from marketing and promotion costs. And we saw our business become contribution positive, 363 crores of contribution profits last year. This number used to be negative, massive, negative 62%, 2,000 crores negative. Then it became nearly break even, but still negative, negative 7%. And last year, this was 13%. Please remember this number, 13%, because we'll refer to it on the next slide, 13% of 360 crores. So we were dramatically able to improve contribution profit in our business. And we were also able to, as a result, generate significantly less EBITDA losses, about 2,600 crores less of EBITDA losses compared to where we were 2 years ago. If I could just take you to the next page where we can talk about how we did in the last quarter. So these numbers became public last night as a part of our RHP. So I'm pleased to share that in the June quarter of last year, June quarter of this year, so June 2021, we generated 62% revenue growth. And this was across the board. You can see payments and financial services grew roughly 60%. You can see our commerce and cloud business grew even faster. And as a result, we were able to get 62% revenue growth on June 21 versus June 2020 basis. What is equally exciting is that our contribution profit basically tripled. So 198%, call it 3x, from 82 crores to 245 crores. And remember the number 13% that I'd shown you in the previous page, that became 27% in the last quarter. And this number for the entire year last year was 363 crores. In this quarter, it was 245 crores. So we saw significant improvement across the board in our profitability profile. And as a result, we believe that we have become a lot more efficient as a business and are well poised for the future. And I think that's our last slide. So I'll hand it back to Lalit. Maybe I'll even stop the screen.
Yeah. And we already have lots of questions.
Thank you, sir, for taking us through the presentation. Before we move ahead with the question answer session, would like to reiterate to the audience to type your name and organization details in the Q&A chat box for the moderator to take note. And in the interest of time, would like to tell you we'll be restricting to about 15 to 20 questions only, and repetitive questions will be skipped. So we've got a question coming in which asks that how does the company envisage to achieve profitability of many business segments? Which segments are profitable for Paytm?
So maybe I can start with that. The precursor of us achieving EBITDA profitability is obviously to get contribution positive in a meaningful fashion, right? So last year, like I said, we had 360 crores. I think this question was posted before we could get to that slide, but I'll answer it anyway. So 360 crores, and right now we're doing about 245 crores a quarter. At least last quarter we did 245 crores. So we believe that we are well on our way. I think for a business like ours, there'll always be investments that we want to make because there are massive, large market opportunities that we can address, either by building new technologies for which we require technology teams and we require software and cloud costs, or by opening up new markets for which we need business development people or marketing and sales people, or just investing in our brand, right? So there are a number of things that we would want to continue to invest behind. So I think it's slightly less important exactly what our EBITDA level is. It is more important how efficient we are and are we using it thoughtfully in areas which can create long-term value for our shareholders. So that's what we focus on. And as our contribution profit grows, it is a decision for us to make whether we should take some of that and reduce our EBITDA losses, or should we invest in areas where we find long-term value creation. In terms of profitability by business, there's not a lot that I can say because I don't want to violate the rule of not saying anything which is not an RHP, except to say that a lot of our payments, clouds, commerce and cloud and financial services businesses are designed to be profitable from day one, because those businesses don't spend money on acquiring customers and merchants directly, which tends to be the largest cost for a business that is starting off, that you have to go through. Either you have to create your own brand, or you have to make sure that customers download your app, or you have to spend money on digital marketing channels to acquire customers. A lot of those businesses within Paytm ecosystem do not have to do that. They already have highly engaged, large base of consumers and merchants who come to us through payments. And their job typically is to figure out to which customer we should show which product and convert them very, very efficiently. And as a result of that, they're contribution positive, typically from day one. So that's the big advantage that we have. So all of those businesses you should generally expect to be profitable.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question, which says, even after you consider your scale, you have a negative EBITDA of 1,655 crores. How would you justify the valuation of the issue and offer? 245 crore contribution margin, but EBITDA level for the quarter.
Yeah, so we did have an EBITDA loss last quarter as well. To be honest with you, the way this works is that we don't justify valuation. Investors invest or not invest at whatever valuation they're comfortable with. So what I can tell you is that there's enormous amount of investor interest. We could have priced our IPO higher, but we chose to do it at these sorts of levels because we thought that this makes sense with respect to leaving some money on the table for our incoming shareholder partners. So that's what we have decided to do. And we have received interest from the bluest of blue chip funds from around the world who have seen the companies in similar journey as we have, and similar stage of the journey as we are in. So they have seen companies that create massive consumer base and have massive engagement with those consumers, how those companies, which are led by good management teams and entrepreneurs, can create value over the long run. So they have seen that play out again and again and again, and they have great conviction in coming in at these kinds of valuations in our IPO, and possibly higher valuations in our IPO.
Thank you. So we'll just wait for a few more questions to come in. How do you see the lending business for SME and shopkeepers? What is the addressable market size?
Let me take that. See, overall addressable market size in India is very, very large. As you know, that there is a very small portion of total small businesses basis various reports who file GST. and hence fundamentally people who end up filing GSTs are generally, one could say, have access to formal credit. But there is a disproportionately large number of small businesses, and we see that in our QR code business, that these businesses are fairly small. They are not in that threshold of GST filing yet, who do not find it that easy to get access to credit. So from a market sizing perspective, I can say that it's a very, very large number or a very disproportionate share of the overall small business ecosystem, which is a fixed shop small business ecosystem in India. Within Paytm ecosystem, as we've got 21 million merchants and growing, we see that a reasonably large share of these merchants increasingly are getting eligible basis the lender's appetite, even after COVID wave 1 and wave 2. And we see that now that overall market sentiment is turning positive, a reasonably large share of our overall merchant active base will be credit active. And hence we've seen fair amount of growth, both over last year and especially over June quarter into September. We've seen a significant growth in a lender's appetite to do merchant credit. And I don't see that comfort coming down over the next multiple quarters or few years to come.
Thank you. So moving to the next question, states that how do we stand apart from the competition, given that there are established banks and other payments apps, and how do you see the growth potential for the years to come?
So Lalit, I would like to point out back to the very fact that there are two kind of payment companies in this country. One are led by, let's say, linking to UPI, which is what I've drawn a few minutes back. And second are those like Paytm is. So one is this kind of company and second is this company. The problem with the first type of companies who are focused on UPI is that you cannot monetize, you cannot use the data because you are a third-party app. But Paytm being a bank, Paytm Bank can leverage and use all the kind of data for itself. And with the ability to issue payment instrument, which is the first type that we are quoting here, you can also make revenue. In case of UPI business, you have to continuously throw money, lock the customer, giving cashback of incentives on a zero revenue. While in the case of the part one, you're able to make money and you are able to decide how much incentive you give. In fact, the fact that we have increased our contribution margin so dramatically by reducing cost and increasing our customer base and merchant base dramatically over the period of time. In other words, that right now we have the highest number of customers, active customers, highest number of active merchant possible, and we have the least amount to spend because we are a uniquely differentiated this payment company and not just this payment company.
Thank you. So moving to the next question, which asks on plans for cash burn going forward, saying between aggressive business growth by spending higher on marketing and customer acquisition or improving cash flows and profitability by curtailing growth, what would the management prefer?
Market share, market share, market share. In other words, we are not spending less. Try understanding. We don't need to spend more while we will continue to have budget to spend more and aggressively expand on our merchant network because there is a lot of cost there incurred. And similarly, in customer acquisition, we will continue to spend more, and we have completely called out that our customer base target is 500 million. The interesting thing that we are trying to say is that there is a lower cost of customer acquisition retention on our platform now, and lower cost of merchant acquisition retention on our platform now. That is giving the magic. So plan for market share, obviously. That is what our plan is.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question with respect to your total capital invested till date.
We have raised in our history just about $2.8, $2.9 billion, obviously at respective exchange rates. So if you compare all if you convert all the rupees that we have raised and convert to today's dollars, that number would be lower. But at the various points of time, if you just take the dollar numbers, then it's been about 2.8, 2.9, and we have about $500 million in our bank. So, so we've invested about $2.2, $2.3 billion of capital.
Okay, so moving to the next question, which asks about Paytm Payments Bank. Is it going to become an SFB?
Lalit, answer to that question is in the hands of RBI. Will we apply or not? We will be applying or not applying. We will review it after 5th year of completion. And most probably we will apply because we believe that by becoming a payment bank to a small finance bank, it becomes lot more better to operate. The limitations of 2 lakh rupees, etc., are tremendously earnest on our technology platform, actually. So we would become far better executing, far better offering the service to the customer. I also want to extend this question that if it become a small finance bank, does it mean our credit business will have change or not? And that is what seems to be another question I can see. So the answer here is that Paytm, that we all are talking about here today, the 197 communication, the Paytm's business model of credit is very clear that we are the disburser, the enabler of disbursement and enabler of collection of the loan for our financial institution partners. And we will continue to remain so. We will not want to be a NBFC, or we were not wanting to be a bank as a Paytm. The reason is that we believe that our obligation is to spread to a larger number of customer credit instead of per customer more credit. Important. Larger number of customer credit means that you would need multiple banking credit partners, their books to be partnered there, versus a single institution or few institution could take care. That also means that if Paytm Payment becomes small finance bank, it will be potentially one of the credit player on that day, on that time. You'll figure out which relationship would work out. But it would not at all mean that our credit business model or credit disbursement business model, as we would like to rather call it, will change. Paytm Payment Bank becoming small finance bank would have its own destiny and journey. We as Paytm own 49% of that company, and we wish great success for that company for its success in becoming small finance bank and initiating fewer new businesses. So small finance bank on the opportunity application, yes, 49% ownership, independent decision of small finance bank to decide what the credit would be, and Paytm's business model will continue. Will be offered distribution to Paytm Payment Bank credit? Definitely, we would love to have that opportunity, and on that day we decide.
Thank you. Moving to the next question, which asks about your alliance with HDFC Bank, recent alliance. How is it going to help us? How is it going to help them?
Both of us will make a lot of money. I'll give it to Bhavesh. उनका भी अच्छा है, हमारा अच्छा है, भलाई भला है, सबका साथ सबका विकास, HDFC का साथ, HDFC और हमारा विकास.
So first and foremost, we do multiple bank partnerships. So we have partnership on various kinds with various banks and non-banks in the industry. HDFC is a bit special. It is very more strategic and is very broad. So we have this partnership entails 3 areas. We have a payments partnership, we have a lending partnership, and we have various other Paytm as a merchant, being the largest merchant or among the largest merchant in the country, partnership for HDFC Bank customers. So what it does and helps HDFC is that it allows HDFCs to leverage Paytm digital distribution to market its product, namely credit card, BNPL, and many other loan products over a period of time. How it helps Paytm is it obviously gets a very low cost of capital, great brand, and the India's largest and most respected issuer of credit in the industry. So it's good for the customer. On the payment side, they're the largest issuer of plastic. Hence, they are the most competitive on pricing on acquiring of merchants. We, being a technology partner for HDFC Bank on a payments business, be it online payment gateway or on POS machines, are able to offer our enterprise and mid-market merchants the best solution on the commercial side with HDFC. And in turn, HDFC is able to get current account, float, CASA, etc., because the device, the solution, and all the products and Paytm issued instruments are now activated on that device, which is acquired by HDFC Bank. And you will see a lot many more areas that jointly we are going to be working on, and in due course of time, we will be innovating some solutions that we have not so far announced in the system. So it's very strategic, but it's not exclusive.
So Bhavesh, you are saying that you are not done with HDFC in partnership yet. You have a lot more to do.
Yeah.
Is there an upside for HDFC from here on in their stock because of that? Joke finished. Please don't answer it.
So there's another question which asks particularly on your lending business ramp-up plans, be it merchant financing or consumer financing. Could you throw some more light there?
Yeah. So I think the 2 or 3 very important pillars of a lending business is how established has been your lending journey in terms of risk models, behavior, and collection performance. In our case, for the lending partners, now we've been in this business for 18-24 months. We've gone through 2 COVID. Our lending partners very clearly feel exceedingly comfortable with the way the portfolio, be it merchant, consumer, BNPL, etc., has performed for them. And the testimony to the statement is the data that we have shown in the RHP and subsequently in the RHP, the ramp up of loans that we've been able to demonstrate. Approximately 1.5 million loans on an average basis now is what we are trending towards, and we see this number to continuously keep moving in a direction at a very significant pace. The second part, or the second important pillar, has been the consumer demand. I think merchant demand on credit is increased after I would say that the COVID piece is now largely seem to be behind, at least in the sentiment in the minds of the businesses. So we are seeing very, very high offtake and very large amount of digital spends the merchant is doing. So we feel very excited about this business, and we believe as Paytm continues to maintain this business, is going to become a very large mainstay business, especially to those small businesses who do not get access to credit, which is a very large part of population of merchants in the QR business. And the third thing here is that the third pillar is the raw material, the capital. So we've been fortunate that through our demonstration of digital capabilities, through a demonstration of technology, and now the collections as a service platform, we are now being able to participate and partner with a lot many more lenders, and hence have access to balance sheets of India's top banks and top NBFCs. And hence we feel that our scale up from here on not only is going to be much more accelerated than what you've seen in the past, but is also going to be very diverse, which basically means that we will come out with better products in the spaces that we have. We'll come out with better offers for consumers because we now get access to low cost of capital, and we will see a significant roll up on both BNPL, consumer and merchant credit from here on. So we feel very excited about this business.
So adding to the lending business question, there's a question which asks, do you take any balance sheet risk?
No, we are not regulatory allowed to take any balance sheet risk, and we don't take any balance sheet risk. The only thing that we work with a lending partner on commercial basis is if lending partner feels that our collections platform or collections service is a service that they would like to take along with us giving them distribution and technology, we offer a collection services for which we get paid commercially, which is linked to the performance of the portfolio and independent OPEX sharing model that we have with them.
Thank you. Going to the next question, is the RBI's rule of UPI market cap below 30% benefiting Paytm?
First and foremost, the interesting part about UPI is that Paytm and Paytm Bank have significant part of the transactions being transacted on us. So we don't use the network, whether it is NPCI, UPI, or whether it is Visa or Master. That said, we are the largest acquirer of every payment network in the country. In other words, the largest, more number of Visa, more number of Master, or more number of RuPay, or more number of UPI payment from merchants are acquired by Paytm. Now, that also means that we've not hit the market cap for that matter, and others are restricted. So it sort of helps somebody else independently to do the third-party non-bank players to attempt to do something that just gives them a direction where should they go. As far as Paytm is concerned, right now, we believe that we would continue to expand a larger honest network. I'm sure some of you know that HDFC Bank, which is the king of the payment in this country, I put the word king of the payment in this country, is so because they have the largest issuance and acquiring in the plastic world. Paytm sort of have that in the QR and the mobile world. In other words, we would continue to drive honest payment as a success on our platform over using the network. So we may not hit the cap incidentally, but we will continue to grow without hitting even touching the network, if you will.
Thank you, sir. The next question asks that what is the incentive for the merchant to stay with us and pay 1% MDR when they can move to UPI, which is free at present?
So it is 0% for every merchant who is sort of a below particular benchmark, for example, like a roadside hawker or roadside street vendor and so on and so forth. So if you do not do a particular dollar value of transaction, you get wallet for free and so on and so forth. So first of all, we don't charge them. So we are the champion of 0% MDR. We bring new customers, new merchants for digital economy, number one. Number two, now you go to another set of customers like Uber, like Uber, Book My Show or Make My Trip or Flipkart, or then you go to an offline shopper stop, landmark retail and whatsoever. For them, having a customer who's paying an instrument, which is what the customer has, they pay MDRs. So they pay MDR for credit card, they pay MDR for postpaid, they pay MDR for wallet. And that is how the model is. So it's a little Robin Hoodish model. बड़े आदमी से पैसे लेते हैं, छोटे आदमी से नहीं लेते हैं और सबका हम भला करते हैं. Something like that. In other words, the business model requires us to expand the distribution and also make monetization money, and we are able to do this very smartly. In other words, a merchant who can take money using UPI will also take money using wallet, because both are not charged on our platform itself.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question, which asks that, we are raising 8,300 crores in fresh issue. Where are we going to use this money? Are we looking at an inorganic growth strategy?
We have
Is a build versus buy build company. So inorganic is a secondary plan ever in a plan, secondary or tertiary plan whatsoever. And Madhur will split the money usage. The keyword I want to tell you about overall M&A direction is that we believe that M&A should be done only to expand the ability capability, which we don't think organically building will give us time to address the market. For example, like let's say you want to, and by the way, we are not, so I'm just saying it, that you want to do something as a line item that you did not do for long enough time, and now it's going to grow. So you quickly acquire someone. But we are lucky that we have not had such situations. Second is that we are expanding to a newer market segment where we are not present and this company present only then. But these two situations haven't come across. We will prefer to build over buy, but I give you the overall buy construct if ever we think. Madhur can tell about usage of proceeds.
Yeah, so we're raising 8,300 crores. Out of that, we have said 4,300 crores would be for expansion of effectively our payments business, which has three components, which is growing consumers. So marketing and promotion expenses to grow our consumer base, growing our merchants, and also providing more technology to our merchants. And the third one is to invest in our technology team and continue to grow our technology team. So that's all organic. It's all sort of payment related and so on. The second is new business initiatives, which could be organic or inorganic, right? So new business initiatives could be getting into a new line of business that we are currently not in. And it could also include inorganic. But as Vijay mentioned, we have a vast majority of what you see in Paytm, vast majority has been built organically. There's very little that we have acquired in the past. And it's typically been because there is some product, which is a good product, which we think our consumers or merchants might want, but the company that we're acquiring has not been independently able to build large distribution for that business. But we do think that it can be distributed on the Paytm ecosystem, either to consumers or merchants. And the third bucket, so the second bucket is 2,000 crores. And the third bucket is also 2,000 crores, which they call general corporate purposes, which is SG&A or other things, or it could have flexibility of moving into the first or second bucket.
Thank you, sir. Could you throw some light on your CAC and payback metric?
We don't have that in the document. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to show, to discuss cost of customer acquisition and payback. What we have put is cohorts. And you will see that our cohorts just keep growing over time. So each customer cohort just keeps growing over time. So when you have a business like that, in some ways, it's hard to think about the LTV, because if the customer just keeps growing over time, then the LTV in theory is infinite, right? So it's hard to kind of nail that down. What we would say is that the cost of customer acquisition, especially for payments, which is what we acquire customers for, has come down dramatically in India. And has come down dramatically, certainly for us. And the opportunity on financial services in particular, but also on commerce and cloud, but let's just take financial services because that's slightly more widely understood already, remains massive and remains largely untouched, right? So it's not like other markets, like especially developed markets, that for somebody to win, somebody else has to get killed, right? So like in the US, for e-commerce to win, malls had to shut down, right? In India, fintech, that's not the example, because the banks who are very valuable in the country right now, they do a very, very good job, but they do a very good job with a small number of customers. There's still a large number of customers who do not have even digital payments, let alone digital financial services, digital credit products, insurance product, wealth products, and so on. So there's an enormous opportunity to expand. And the profitability of financial services is very, very high, right? So, I mean, we're doing some math internally that if a very, very small percentage of our customers take personal loans, that pays for basically the entire customer acquisition plan for the next several years, right? So it's those sorts of almost lopsided outcomes that one can expect when you have a payments company, when you have payments CAC attached to financial services type of monetization.
Thank you, sir. Another question coming in. If you have any plans of entering into the pay later for shopping like Postpay?
So actually, we are already the market creator for that product through Paytm Postpaid. Paytm Postpaid is, I would say, arguably one of the largest platform, if not the largest platform for pay later solutions. So yeah, we're already there in that business. And because we control two-sided ecosystem, mainly meaning that we control the acquiring side of the business. Hence, we don't need, like Postpay or many other pay later products, they need Rails or Visa or any prepaid instrument. Our Postpaid product works on all Paytm QRs and our payment gateway and on our apps very, very effectively. So yeah, we are already there in that business, and we're very, very large in that business.
Okay, sir. There's a question which asks that what is your take rate you earned in Q2 FY22 and processing charges you pay? Does the take rate include transaction fees earned from BNPL in the fourth quarter of FY21 or the first year half of FY22?
So I'm not sure which take rate they would have looked at. If they're looking at payments and financial services revenue, then yes, it does include all revenues from BNPL also, because BNPL is slightly tricky because we think of it as a payment product, which is what it is, but it's also a financial services product, which is part of the reason why we club payments and financial services together, because most of our financial services are designed to help payments, right? So if you look at payments and financial services total revenue divided by GMV, and you get a take rate, then yes, it does include BNPL revenues. The difference between payments and financial services revenue and our payment gateway cost has expanded over the last 2 years, over the last 3 years, even the last quarter. In fact, last year, despite a significant increase in payments and financial services revenue, our payment instrument cost actually went down, not as a percentage, but actually in absolute term, it went down. So we have become more and more efficient with our payment gateway costs. Hopefully that answers most of that question.
Thank you. Adding to it, the question says, in Indian context, can your payment business be profitable, or will it be used as an acquisition tool for cross-selling?
I think it's both. Payment business is profitable today, and it is an acquisition tool for our commerce and cloud, more premium payment offerings, as well as financial services. And the reason for this, and I know there's a conceptual issue because most of the players who consumers think of as our competition, because they're consumer app driven companies, they don't even make revenue, let alone margin or profits, right? So I can understand the confusion. Can payments make money? But I think there's a difference between payments that happen only on third-party rails, such as UPI, which is by mandate zero revenue, right? So if you're going to generate zero revenue, it's going to be very hard for you to make profits, right? Now, Paytm model is slightly different, which is we are a very sizable player in UPI, but we also have issuance side businesses such as wallet, postpaid, bank account, and so on. And those make a lot of money, right? Most issuance businesses make money, right? Like, banks have issuance businesses that make money. And so it does for Paytm as well. Vijay, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just want to tell you that this is the consumer side and this is the merchant side. Then effectively, UPI-based businesses whom you are comparing us against are making as much money as we make in 30 to 45 days, actually. Practically, that's their business model, which is as good as being a content service provider, because they can't use the transaction data for any other use, because legally it is bounded not to be abused or used by any UPI app player. As far as Paytm is concerned, Paytm is an issuer revenue, which is this side of the revenue, and acquiring revenue, which is this side of revenue. And combination of that for Paytm makes more money, like I said, in the payment business that these companies make in a year basis. So yeah, it is a revenue making machine for us. And why did we add financial services combined into it? Because the key part of financial services, which is credit, BNPL, is part of the payment business and any which ways in our math.
Next question asking on your view on how will the business evolve when your wallet becomes an open architecture?
wallet is open architecture, it is charged, and it is allowed for every bank player to work. Somewhere the misunderstanding that people carry is that Paytm is I'll open this once again for everyone's benefit. It is an open architecture, my friend. It is, because it is where even today Paytm offers this to a merchant, and open architecture means that you will have this acquiring. So opening means that every Paytm merchant will also be a UPI merchant. Yes. And every merchant in future will have an obligation to carry Paytm wallet, which means every merchant will have to pay us 1.1% distribution fee, which is out there, decided or not decided as publicly, that the merchant will pay. So every other company that is in UPI business will start to earn revenue for us because we are the issuers. Okay. Every payment QR deployed in the market will also accept Paytm wallet, giving us distribution unlike before, so on shoulders of someone else, and they will give us the issuing side revenues. So it's more revenue.
How large is the advertising opportunity, sir? There's another question which asks that, and will it see itself geotagging too?
The digital advertising opportunity in India is massive. The entire digital revolution that is happening, particularly on mobile phone, which is where it's happening, is based on customers wanting to download an app, access a service, and all of these startups that get created need a way to reach out to consumers. Now, Paytm has hundreds of millions of customers, and Paytm has, first of all, they're identity verified customers, right? So we know who they are. It's not junk traffic, which sometimes you get from other digital marketing platforms. And also, so we have deep insights on these consumers. And as a result of that, we are able to run a pretty sizable advertising business. We only started this about 1.5 years ago, and has also become very sizable. And obviously, it's massively, massively profitable.
Thank you, sir. There's another question which asks that, can you give and throw some color on the quantitative and qualitative aspects of the share of different payment mechanisms in payment GNB, be it UPI, wallet, postpaid?
Maybe I have to be slightly, obviously I know the information, I have to be slightly careful. We have not shared a split between in the prospectus, so I couldn't precisely answer that. But what I could tell you is that we have said that we did 5.9 billion merchant transactions last year, and you can go to NPCI P2M data. So make sure you take P2M data, not P2P data, or not overall data. So make sure you take P2M data for FY21, and you'll be able to see what percentage of our transactions happen basis NPCI's data on UPI versus the 5.9 billion transactions that we have put in the prospectus.
Okay, sir. Moving to the next question. Can you give the breakup of the 4 lakh crore GMV in terms of Paytm to Paytm and over gateways?
So the GMV does not include any P2P transactions. So if I send you money using Paytm wallet, that is not included. If I send you money bank account to bank account using UPI, that is not included. So the 4 lakh crores is customer to merchant transactions. And there are basically 3 types of customer to merchant transaction if you really had to club everything into 3 buckets. One is online transactions on the Paytm app. The second is online transactions on third-party apps. And the third is transactions which happen in the offline world, either in a QR code or a soundbox or a device. So those are the 3 broad buckets, and our 4 lakh crore is divided amongst those 3 buckets.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question, which asks, what are our growth numbers from Paytm Money and Paytm Games?
So Paytm Money only launched equity trading last year. So until now, Paytm Money used to do mutual funds. It was only in September of last year that they launched equity trading, and in February when they launched F&O trading, which is where you end up making most of the revenues. So the revenue numbers for FY21 were quite small, but they're ramping up very nicely. We will be on an annual basis disclosing the annual report of Paytm Money as well as a part of our overall financials. So you'll be able to see that. Paytm First Games is interesting because it is owned 55% by us, but it was originally set up as a joint venture. So we actually don't consolidate Paytm First Games. So it's important for everyone to know that whatever revenue numbers that you see for Paytm does not include those numbers. It is a very sizable amount of revenue that we make from Paytm First Games. And that number is in the prospectus.
Thank you, sir. Could you throw some light on the strategy for your businesses in subsidiaries outside India?
We have a number of subsidiaries outside India. I'll break it up into two buckets. One is a subsidiary called Paytm Labs, which is held through Paytm Singapore. Paytm Labs has triple-digit number of engineers who work on data science and other projects for Paytm India because we get great talent. Paytm Labs, by the way, is based in Toronto, I should have mentioned. So that's one subsidiary which is directly linked to what you think of as Paytm business. The other set of subsidiaries that you will see, which are in places like Dubai, Malaysia, Nepal, and so on, are linked to our cloud business, where we help enterprise and telecom companies manage their customer life cycles better. So basically get more out customer revenue from their customers using the technologies that we provide. In many of those countries, it is required for us to have a local subsidiary for billing. Most of these subsidiaries are very, very small.
Okay. Are we looking to increase the spread between what we earn from merchants and cost we pay out to banks or networks?
I think I sort of answered this question earlier, which is that it has been going down pretty dramatically. In fact, in the last 3 years, FY19 to 20, it was flat. FY20 to FY21, it went down in absolute terms. So while our GMV sort of doubled over those 2 years, this cost actually went down in absolute terms. So, and our revenue obviously grew as well. Our payments and financial services revenue also grew. So yes, this cost has been going down, and we have become more and more efficient with respect to this cost.
A question on Paytm Mall, sir. How important is Paytm Mall's business in its commerce strategy?
Paytm Mall is a separate company. It is actually not owned by Paytm. Paytm does not own any shares of Paytm Mall either. So it is not a subsidiary, it is not an associate, it is not an investee company. It has its own strategy. From a Paytm standpoint, the company that is going public, 197 Communications Limited, Paytm e-commerce generates a very, very small amount of revenue.
Thank you, sir. With respect to your lending business, as Mr. Gupta stated earlier on, you're not taking credit risk on your books, but there's a question which add-ons and asks on the underwriting. How strong do we have? How strong is our underwriting capabilities in compared to the other banks? What is the kind of technology that we use behind it?
We don't do underwriting either.
Yeah.
If we don't take credit, we don't do underwriting. We help bank to underwrite. We help them by giving signals of customer behavior and many other things, which could be a common data room sharing, anonymous basis, etc. But we don't do risk or underwriting. Bhavesh?
No, absolutely. I was just about to say, so we don't take any risk. We don't do any underwriting. The only thing is what we do is that we help banks to create a model using data as a surrogate to either income, intent, ability, or stability, and purely on the bank's own risk appetite and their own comfort on using whatever data that we have on our potential customers, which can be their borrowers. They create models. Now, those models have been behaving fairly well. Now, how are they comparing versus banks? No, we've not done that study at all. But we can only tell you is that increasingly, as you can see, the kind of partners that are getting onboarded on Paytm, I think that's a good signal to say that the level of confidence bank has on Paytm data is very decent.
Thank you. So on advertising and marketing promotion expenses, there's a question which states that we've gone down from 3,400 to 550 last year. So why have we allocated 4,000 crores, from the fresh issue this time?
The 4,000 crores, 4,300 crores to be precise, is not only for marketing and promotion. Marketing and promotion is one of the three buckets. Like I mentioned earlier, one out of that 4,300. So at the 4,300 is divided into marketing and promotion costs, expanding our merchant network and giving more technology to our merchants. And the third is building more technology overall within Paytm. So the 4,300 is split into those three, perhaps not equally. We have the flexibility of doing more of one and less of the other. What I should point out is that while we spent 533 crores last year, which, as I showed you earlier, is dramatically lower than years before, the way our business stacks up today is that we could spend more. I'm not saying massively more, but we could spend more and still be able to continue to grow our contribution margin. So like Vijay said earlier, it's not like we're not investing. It's not like we don't want to invest. We just want to be very, very efficient, get the right quality of users and merchants, and work on their retention, right? So we will spend on marketing and promotion. We're not squeezing that spend, but that will not, marketing and promotion spend will not be 4,300 crores. There'll be other buckets within that number.
And I just wanted to add to what Madhur said, that marketing and advertising, then second part, like signing up merchant, means field sales executive, their salaries and incentives and all the cost of acquiring merchants. And third part that you saw was technology spends, which was like recruiting employees, engineers.
Yeah, and I should just add that what we have said in the prospectus and said to SEBI is that this money that we are raising through the IPO, we have flexibility to spend it over 5 years, right? So it's not like we're going to blow it up in 1 year. So you should feel happier about that.
Thank you, sir. One question coming in asking who owns the Paytm brand name?
Paytm brand name is owned by 197 Communications Limited, which is going public. So the company that is going public, that hopefully many of us will be shareholders of, does own the Paytm brand name.
मुझे पूरा भरोसा है किसी ने सोचा होगा ये विजय शेखर शर्मा ने अपनी तरफ से ओन करके तो लीज नहीं किया है।
ऐसा आज तक नहीं हुआ है विजय की प्रमोटर ओन्स द ब्रांड।
मैं तो ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि जो क्वेश्चन है वो उसकी कारण ये है। मैं आप सभी लोगों को ये भी बताना चाहता हूँ, पेटीएम पेमेंट बैंक की 50% ओनरशिप मेरी वजह से नहीं आई, रेगुलेटर की वजह से आई। Regulator wanted a domestic domicile owner of 51% owner, and that is why it was obligated for me. First, we thought that I would not need to sell or do something. You can do a commercial deal in a way that company will give me money and I will return the money in exchange of equity and so on. RBI said, no, Mr. Sharma, sell your shares, get money, invest in bank. So I did that. And I want to tell you, in the clean, sincere commitment basis, my equity of Paytm Payment Bank has a ROFR lock from OCL, that is Paytm, that is 197 Communication Limited. In other words, regulator allowing, this is going to be given and purchased by parent. So,
thank you, sir. One more question coming in. Why the subcontract cost declined over the past 3 years, and will it continue to decline?
Subcontracts are those people which we said in field sales executive, or वो एक entity से दूसरी entity move हो गई. Madhur can.
The subcontract cost should be seen in conjunction with people cost, because like Vijay said, the subcontract cost is largely the expenses of feet on street employees, and we have the flexibility to either subcontract that expense or have it in Paytm, or there's a company called Paytm Services Private Limited, which is 100% owned by us. So have it in one of those entities. So it should be seen in conjunction with people cost. We are expanding the number of feet on street and basically sales team that we have. So between people cost and subcontract cost, that could go up. One of the things that we had done a couple of years ago is that instead of hiring more and more people subcontracted, we were hiring them within the group. And the reason was we could train them better, we could manage attrition better, and so on.
Okay, sir. Moving to the next question. Switzerland Reinsurance Company invested 23% stake of amount of rupees 920 crores. How are you going to utilize these funds?
So Swiss Re has, we have announced a transaction a couple of days ago where Swiss Re is investing in a company called Paytm InsurTech, which is an associate company of Paytm. Paytm InsurTech has entered into an agreement to acquire a general insurance company called Reheja QBE. So the money that will be raised from, and that transaction is currently pending IRDA approval. Subject to receipt of that approval, that money will be used to partially fund that acquisition. So the 23% and all of this money, just to be clear, is not coming into Paytm. It is coming into Paytm InsurTech.
Thank you, sir. Ending the Q&A session with one last question, which says that a strong bank like Kotak with so many subsidiaries and huge profits is available at a 3 lakh crore market cap. Why should investors consider your company at 1.6 lakh crores?
Maybe I'll try to answer that, and you should add as well. Private financial services in India is not 3 lakh crores, it's like 40 lakh crores, right? So if you look at all the fantastic companies that service private sector companies that service financial services to Indians, that's roughly $500 billion, roughly 40 lakh crores, probably gone up in the last few months. I checked a few months ago. And they do that by largely serving 100 to 200 million customers, right? And they do a really good job. And we're not saying, and like I said, in India, it doesn't have to be a zero-sum game, right? They can flourish and we can flourish and everybody can flourish. But your question was more on valuation. And our mission is to have 500 million Indians, right? So I wouldn't look at, okay, there's a Kotak Bank, or we certainly hesitate to talk about specific names or specific players in the market. But there is $500 billion of value that has been created in India by servicing 100 to 200 million customers, depending on who you're looking at, right? I know there are some questions about Bajaj in the group as well, and so on, all great companies. So 100 to 200 million customers, over $500 billion of value created. I think the investors who are interested in our IPO are asking themselves, what is a company that could serve 500 million Indians really, really well using technology? What should that company be worth 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, right? And that's how they come to the valuation number. I don't think it's a direct comparison between us and another company, whether it's Kotak or anyone else.
Thank you. So with this, we end with the Q&A session. Vijay, yes, sir.
I want to add to this. So my answer would be, you can very well see well-run companies are valued like this. You gave an example. I mean, I'm not the valuation seeker either, but I mean, I'm saying that Kotak example is perfectly correct, that this is how well-run companies are valued. HDFC is even better valued, actually. I mean, not multiple wise, but profit wise and revenue wise. So both sare assets hai market mein. I mean, you choose what you choose, and not that we are trying to put the valuation. Now that it'll become public, it'll become a publicly valued, not us through be valued or anything.
I should just point out, Vijay, I'm sure the person who asked the question had seen the valuation of Kotak. Today, it's actually 4 lakh crores. It's not 3 lakh crores. It's not like they became 1 lakh crore better as a company in the last, since whenever you checked it. So valuations are what they are. All we want is high quality shareholders who will support our journey going forward, and they decide the valuation. And like I said earlier, we could have priced the IPO higher, but our objective was to get the highest quality shareholders and to leave some money on the table for that.
Lalit, I have a lot of questions being read here, and I know that some of us we've not been able to answer because of the rush. Do you mind me taking some questions?
No problem, sir. Please go ahead.
So, because I've scrolled up already, so I'm seeing what I'm seeing in front, and I would choose that to be answered in that sequencing. The question is, Bajaj Finance is developing a super app. How do you plan to fight this competition, as Bajaj Finance has large AUM and also has large reach? Why do I need to fight Bajaj Finance? They're good and happy players, and they should do something to grow the market. What they do will grow the market. And we've seen number of players coming in. The market has grown. We've remained the leader. We've remained the market leader. We will remain the market leader. That is what our effort should be. Bajaj Finance or someone else attempting to grow the market is welcome. You comparing a company with like Fino Payment Bank, they are comparing you in their RHP. Paytm versus Paytm Payment Bank. Fino Payment Bank should be logically comparing Paytm Payment Bank, and I'm sure when Paytm Payment Bank itself will think of an IPO, will compare to Fino Payment Bank. Can I know when you expect the platform to be profitable? Like we just talked about, where the money is coming, where the money is going. Throw light on related party transaction with Paytm Payment Bank, like nature of revenue received, etc. We just talked about what the commercial model between the two entities is. Fino Paytech Bank, boss, ye Paytm Payment Bank ke questions hai. What is the revenue from FS alone? Actually, we've taken more or less all the question. Anybody, any question? Please type it once again. I can read it at the bottom. Remaining. Who can be your best industry competition in future? दोस्त हर्ष साहा ने पूछा ये सवाल. मैं आपको बताता हूँ. I started this business 2000 में. हमारा competition हर 2 साल में बदल गया. तो मुझे नहीं मालूम अगले 2 साल में कौन हमारा competition होगा, because we don't know what could be our shape and size kind of aspiration of someone else. Now, 2 years back, someone else, another 4 years back, someone else. Pankaj Jain of Citi, who is in this call, was raising money for me. I think at one point in time, Sudarshan was raising money for me. Totally different set of people whom we were thinking competition. आज आप बजाज से competition कह रहे हो. हमने तो कभी सोचा भी नहीं था बजाज का नाम लेंगे. पंकज, आपने कभी हमारे फंड रेजिंग डॉक्यूमेंट में बजाज फाइनेंस और बजाज कैपिटल को competition की तरह लिखा था? नहीं लिखा था ना?
नहीं, दूर दूर तक नहीं.
दूर दूर तक नहीं. तो भाई ऐसी बात है कि the business evolves. You get new friends, you get new enemies, you get new competition. पता नहीं चलता. और है why the और क्या है? Vision of Paytm first game business in long term like 5 years. It will be a very big business. I mean, the point I can say is that Paytm first game is a real money gaming and it is fairly large. It's discovered its own mojo and scale by itself. So it's very, very good. And by the way, the lucky thing is that we own majority, but because we cannot appoint CEO, I repeat it, because it is built like a JV where the JV partner has a right to appoint CEO in consultation. We and us and them will have a consultation. So auditor said that आपका ये full control नहीं है इस पे, तो इसको consolidate नहीं करेंगे. तो technically अगर वो right छोड़ देगा हमारा JV partner, which logically we have never bothered about it, so then it will become a consolidated company and then the vision will be really booming. That's our secret plan for growing our revenues on the day when we need to. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, हमारे को कोई plan भी नहीं है merging का. Company is in loss throughout the years. बिल्कुल. Any specific reason? Because we are investing in the market and a scale growth, buddy. Customer acquisition, merchant acquisition, and build up of technologies. Can you give breakup of full IPMB? Can you talk about your plan of insurance business? We plan to ramp up. Oh, this is a very interesting question, Mr. Anand Nama. Can you talk about your plan for insurance business where we are planning to bring foreign capital investors? So you got it. Madhur, anyways, answer Swiss Re is an example there. We plan to ramp up a UPI payment. Will it cannibalize the wallet and other payment line? If so, could have adverse impact on our profitability? No, Anand, it is a very interesting thing. What I want to tell you is that I've seen that customers come by linking a bank account, which is UPI, and then the customer knows that there is a instrument is giving a cashback or a long-term reward point like credit card point when you use wallet. So then he starts to use this and उसको UPI से wallet में payment डालना है बस, जो कि zero cost है. So उसके लिए तो बस एक extra step है which he can do it. And now we have launched a automatic add money to the wallet. So literally hundreds of thousands of customers have started to do it, which in other words means that automatically the UPI is giving birth to the wallet's growth. Lesser cost on the supply side and higher margin. And this is technically not cannibalization. So you get it. And it requires a little more commitment because it's for a min KYC करना पड़ता है. Gurmeet Singh is saying that, can you throw some light on application on a NUE license? How does it fit in long-term strategy? Actually, none of us, neither Paytm nor Paytm Bank, is a complete owner. It's a consortium of people to build an NUE. If it happens, it'll be an amazing opportunity because we will, as a consortium, have an opportunity to build a network where multiple financial institutions can partner, and it's an incredible opportunity. I mean it. If you notice, Visa, Master, RuPay, and PCI are great organization of scale. It's a great opportunity. That is what I'm going to say, but we don't know anything about it. If you have a question, you could post it, and I could answer it. Actually, I'm just saying it. Okay, so
yeah, I'm sending some questions. Should you want me to answer?
Yeah. Last question is Zehra is saying.
Yeah, I see a question. Is Paytm planning to bring processing fee, convenience fee on recharge and other services like its peer competitor brought recently?
That's a desperate peer competition trying to make money when he learned that our company makes so much of money. This is stupidity. Fundamentally flawed as a pitch, my friend. Why would we charge a consumer? ये तो उल्टा ही जमाना आ गया ना. Merchant से charge करो, consumer से charge क्यों कर रहे हो? Please, जैसे ही वो करेंगे तो हमारी तरफ customer अपने आप आ जाएगा. होता है ना, tilted होता है ना, पानी सारा इधर आ जाएगा जैसे ही charge करेंगे. So we don't have a plan and we don't think that it is needed.
For shopkeepers, any plan to launch app service like Shopify?
Paytm stores, mini store is a concept like that. Paytm Mini Store is a concept like that. We have not amplified it. First, we are allowing deal, GV, gift voucher becho, deal becho, or ticket etc. becho. Mini app chalao. So mini app is interesting for us. Next.
Bhavish, the question is, are we looking to do 0% short-term loans, interest subvention loans in our BNPL business? How would you execute the same? How many OEs are we onboarding onto the platform for BNPL business? I should admit, I don't know what an OE is.
So we are yet to onboard OEs, including brands in particular. So that's a part of our plan. Hopefully, in the first quarter of next year is when we start to onboard OEs, etc. Our entire BNPL product is interest-free. It is currently 0%. So for the first 30 days, and the entire use case of BNPL for Paytm is utilities, consumption use case, and not yet shopping use case. Having said that, we will be bringing out a shopping use cases in ties with brands, etc. And you should see that hopefully in the next couple of quarters.
Zahra has asked this question several times, so I'll take it, although I can't quite answer it. What will an existing shareholder pre-IPO investor gain in terms of shares on listing?
ये कैसे सवाल है? ये हमारे सिलेबस के बाहर है सर. ये टीचर ने हमें पढ़ाया नहीं और कहा ऐसे सवालों का जवाब बिल्कुल नहीं देना. I mean, this is speculation, buddy. Why do you want us to be the speculator in promoting that? Sorry for not answering. What will be still an existing shareholder IPO for Shopee? अच्छा, ये आप देख रहे हो वहाँ से.
If you see 3 threats to list, what would they be?
3 threats to list? List what list?
I think they mean if you had to make a list of 3 threats, what would they be?
Risk for IPO type say?
No, just not listing. List, not listing. If you had to make a list of 3 threats, what would they be?
देखो, सावन के अन्य को सब जगह हरा दिखता है. मैं लिस्टिंग के प्रोसेस में हूं, तो मेरा माफ करिए कि मेरे को लिस्ट का मतलब लिस्टिंग लग रहा है. सॉरी. पहला तो ये. दूसरा ये कि इफ यू हैव टू लिस्ट 3 थ्रेट्स, व्हाट विल इट बी? सबसे पहले कि अगर हम गलती से भी रियल एस्टेट जैसे बुलशिट बिजनेस में चले गए, चाहे वो क्रेडिट हो, चाहे वो डेबिट हो, चाहे वो रियल एस्टेट बनाना हो. आई हैव सीन द कंपनीज इन द कंट्री हैव ऑल गॉट विक्टिमाइज्ड ऑफ डूइंग दैट. #we will not do it. You know it. Which is the biggest risk of Indian corporates, I'd say. Number 2 is that what should we think about the biggest risks? Actually, I mean, it's not overconfidence, but I actually am wondering what should it be. I think hacking, customer data, चोरी और कुछ ऐसा वैसा is a tricky topic. Although बहुत सारे competition का हुआ और उनका कुछ नहीं हुआ, तो IPO भी कर रहे हैं और सब कुछ हो रहा है, तो maybe in India you can get away with lot. But I wish that हमारे साथ ऐसा ना हो, तो वो भी नहीं है risk ऐसा.
I'll say that following our business, deviating from our business model, which is that we have our payments flywheel, and usse you get huge opportunities to create high margin payments, high margin commerce and cloud, high margin financial services. In some moment of madness, if we were to depart from that model and try to create a Me Too as someone else, okay, all your businesses go off and build your own journeys, I think that will be detrimental to our overall. So the threat is making that sort of wrong strategic decision.
Okay, and I think one of the biggest risks for us will be that there is a systematic change in the customer and industry, and we ignored it. And that, for example, like what internet to mobile for large banks, if you notice, they sort of missed a sizable bus. And third could be so some systematic change. Who knows what crypto is going to bring in the world? I mean, is that a risk or an opportunity? We don't have a clue today because we are not allowed to think about it. So that could be. Sagarika Mukherjee, ma'am, you have asked, why does a transaction at transfer from a consumer be charged? When it can be UPI payment, why should a merchant be ready to pay the charge? I totally agree. We are the champion of 0% fee. We are actually not charging, and we are telling Kirana merchant not to be paying any fee. It is not Kirana merchant who are paying the fee. I told you, Dayani Saab is paying, Mr. Dara Khoshgi of Uber is paying. So बड़े लोग pay कर रहे हैं. Kirana store is our friend and family. उसको तो हमें digital loan बढ़ा के बड़ा कराना है. We don't suggest, and we are the champion of 0% MDR for Kirana. If you did not know, UPI was charged and Paytm wallet was not. We forced UPI to become zero priced, and we are the champion of zero price MDR, ma'am. There is no reason for small merchant to pay. छोटे व्यक्तियों को inclusion में लाने के लिए payment और charges zero होने चाहिए. That is the fundamental belief that we carry.
A different question. What opportunity do you see with FASTag?
FASTag is an amazing opportunity because this means that you have a payment instrument on a car. So a car which is crossing a toll, which you know is a FASTag, now goes to the parking lot. पैसे नहीं लगाने, आप मॉल में गए, आपका पार्किंग लॉट का टिकट निकलते टाइम पे ऑटोमेटिक चार्ज हो गया. You went to the office. So Mr. Sudarshan going to Goldman office or Mr. Salil reaching to Axis office, FASTag machines decide कि कहाँ पे कब enter करे, and that automatically gate opens because you are allowed to enter. And then when you come out, it is easy. Similarly, apartment complexes, you can walk in, walk out. So FASTag, and then petrol pump, our EDC machine, POS machine has a FASTag scanning device. So उस पे भी payment. The point is now the car, which is your extended identity, or the vehicle that is your extended identity, can become your identity login and tracker or payment device. And that is phenomenally amazing. So I'm long on FASTag and NCMC just in case. Which other country do you feel excited about, like India, and starting a huge payment system? We were very excited about Japan because Japan में तो कोई घुसा ही नहीं, कैश का इतना ज़्यादा बड़ा बिजनेस है. We did it. बाकी कंट्रियों में हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है, वहाँ पे मासा के पैसे थे तो उन्होंने उनको लगवा दिया. हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है. When we earn our ticket to deposit and interest, we will go in some other countries. Since Paytm all also using Paytm brand, what is 197 agreement? पैसे मिलते हैं रॉयल्टी के, वो तो कमर्शियल में लिखा हुआ है, DRHP में पढ़ो. How about regulatory environment? Do you consider that as a risk? नहीं, regulator तो हमारा माई बाप है. In other words, regulatory, I believe, is the reason that many other foreign companies will not walk into this country. In other words, I don't feel anything bad about regulator. Regulator listens, by the way. If you do anything hanky-panky, that is the time regulator comes. जब आप regulator से बड़े बनने का try करोगे, तब regulator बताएगा कि कौन बाप है. In other words, regulator is a blessing in our business who understands what should be the business and so on. Well, we may be in early honeymoon days, who knows, but we believe this is a great opportunity. Do you plan to lend from your own balance sheet? हमने बताया था कि we have no plan to even take an NBFC license or lend from own balance sheet, not even from small finance bank as a plan. A small finance bank will have its own business and independent. अच्छा, लोगों ने हमारी कॉल में सुना नहीं, या तो बाद में आए या फिर उन्होंने इग्नोर मार दिया कि इससे सवाल नहीं पूछेंगे.
Yeah, I know.
What would trigger a change in the focus of the company from changing market share to changing profitability? Boss, एक बात बता रहे हैं ना, तो market share, no, I mean, ये कैसे misunderstand कर रहे हो कि profitable और market share साथ में नहीं जाते? The point is that if you leave somebody who can enter in your market, then your whole profit goes for a toss. So we are not saying कि हम profitable नहीं होंगे. आपने देखा नहीं हमने कितना है, और हमने market share भी बढ़ाया. So they are not conflicting arguments, by the way. Gaurav is saying, is there any tech sharing with Alipay? This there? No, we build our own technology, and that is the scale about it. In fact, Japan में Paytm की technology लगी हुई है, India की technology पे QR चलता है. By the way, TI, did you know QR code was invented by a Japanese company called Denso, and Paytm went to Japan and gave the QR code payment. And I was telling them, भाई लोगों कैसा लग रहा है आपको कि भारत से आया एक आदमी आपको QR बताएगा? I mean, I was telling them things, and they were so happy by saying this. They were very, very happy. Boss, I'm just going to say that you have asked these questions which are already answered, and I'm sorry to say I'm not going to take everybody's time on them, or you not read the document. So I'm pardoning for everybody's questions, answers. So, like, what is the largest revenue generator for 197? Is it a trick? For lending revenue, share with bank. What is the revenue model? Data sharing. क्यों हम data share क्यों करेंगे बैंक के साथ? हमारा data है वो, हम बैंक को क्यों data देंगे?
Is that model? Is that of a facilitator similar to Upstart Holdings of the US, which is a facilitator for consumer loans, primarily refinancing of credit card debt?
इतना आगे मत जाओ ना.
Yeah, अलग direction में चला गया वो.
हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं कह रहा हूँ या डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और कलेक्शन, पैसे को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करवाने को इनेबल करिए और पैसे को कलेक्ट करने के लिए इनेबल करिए, टेक्नोलॉजी दीजिए. इन 3 लाइन आइटम पे रेवेन्यू बनता है. Okay. Oh, people are like really interested.
How many merchants are using Paytm's cloud service, and how this number has grown from FY19 to Q1 FY20?
How many merchants
are using Paytm's cloud services, and how this number has grown from FY19 to FY20?
Just because हमने ये RHP में नहीं डाला तो हम आपको बता नहीं सकते, but the answer is fraction, extreme low fraction. The revenue is made by the top few merchants, and those are using some services, and that is how the beauty is. So, I mean, even if it becomes 10%, boom, amazing hoega wo. How does OCEN network impact your customer data? OCEN network, open commerce enable.
OCEN Vijay. Open Credit Enablement Network. OCEN.
उसमें हमारा क्या काम करेंगे वो? What is it? वो तो बैंकों का डेटा है ना. हमें डेटा मिलेगा दोस्त वहां से. हम तो पेमेंट प्रोवाइडर हैं. बैंक अपना डेटा वहां पे शेयर करेंगे. I hope you got it. OCEN is, by the way, ये क्या चीज है? OCEN What is
So
open?
OCEN is an Open Credit Enablement Network, which sits on top of AA. AA is nothing but connecting two banks on customer consent and getting through API Bank A data to Bank B. And OCEN is an app which allows people to lend. Yeah, okay, that's good. But our entire lending business is not based on bank data, it's based on Paytm data. So we are neither sharing data with the OCEN or AA, neither we are currently consuming data, but we can consume data if you want.
Aditi is saying, is your commerce strategy now focused on mini store versus Paytm Mall property? नहीं, वो Paytm Mall का business Paytm Mall का business है और वो हमें पैसे देंगे तो वो कर लेंगे. मिनी स्टोर, मिनी ऐप सब कुछ चलता है और डील जीवी सब कुछ है. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि स्ट्रेटजी स्विंग हो गया है. Everybody is welcome to reach out to the customer and give us the toll. Toll मतलब percentage margin.
There is a question that Paytm Mall uses the Paytm brand. Do they pay a royalty? Yes, they do, and it's disclosed in the prospectus.
हाँ, पैसा मिलता है उनसे, उनके GMV के रेशियो मिलता है. Even better. If Paytm become profitable, we can show dividend to upcoming shareholder. उतना दूर तक मत जाओ यार. सारे पैसे जो हमारे जनरेट होंगे उसकी इतनी ग्रोथ रिक्वायरमेंट है, मैं बता नहीं सकता. I just want to tell you in this business call to everyone that most probably dividend paying बनने के लिए बहुत लंबा आगे टाइम लगेगा. मतलब जितना एप्पल को टाइम लगा होगा dividend paying के, बहुत ज्यादा आगे होगा. अभी शॉर्ट टर्म और मिड टर्म में तो हमें दिख नहीं रहा कहीं पे. I mean there is a lot of investment we can do. पहले इंडिया की ज्योग्राफी में, फिर पोटेंशियली जैसे कुछ लोगों ने पूछा इंटरनेशनल ज्योग्राफी भी हो सकती है. नई जो बहुत ही लॉजिकल है.
The shareholding post IPO, so Ant Financial, which is a large shareholder of Paytm, which is a Chinese company, their shareholding will come down below 25% on a basic share count basis and 23% on a fully diluted basis. Roughly 23%. It's 23 and change, just to be clear.
Please talk about how bank account aggregation platform it helps us in any way. Again, the same thing. I mean, potentially a customer who is on Paytm platform, he gives us more bank data to us, helpful. Obviously, more data is always helpful. Now, whether it is coming from AA or OCEN or anywhere else, welcome. Tushar is saying, how many merchants are using Paytm Cloud? What is the definition of small merchant? Can you qualify turnover business? Small merchant जिसको भी हम चार्ज नहीं करते, कोई पूछ रहा हो ना, तो टिपिकल ऐसे ही है कि कितना आपने पेमेंट वॉलेट से लिया. क्या आपने 10,000 रुपए का पेमेंट लिया, 1 लाख का पेमेंट लिया, 2 लाख का पेमेंट लिया, उसके बेसिस पे हम उसको 0 MDR देते हैं. समझो? हाँ बिल्कुल, उनके GMV टर्नओवर के बेसिस पे है. आई मीन बिजनेस सीक्रेट है तो मैं बताऊंगा नहीं कि कितने बजे बोले हैं. Paytm स्मॉल डिविडेंड और कैसे वाला है? एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? देखा, वी आर ओपन. हाँ, एक और है.
No, I think we've answered most of them. All of them nearly. I'm looking up.
Will you be a information?
Will the company be able to match up to?
Hi, Presh Jain, Mr. Jain. AA is a aggregation of banks. Paytm Payment Bank AA को लग सकती है, हम तो लग भी नहीं सकते. OCL में तो OCL is not a bank, so हम डेटा नहीं देते. We can be customer of AA. We are not extending towards AA. Paytm Bank can give.
Will the company be able to match the historical growth rates because of competition? I think what you would have seen is that our growth rate has actually accelerated. Like we had shown earlier, we used to do 1 lakh crores a quarter 1 year ago. Now we're doing 2 lakh crores a quarter, 100% plus GMV growth year on year. So we're actually seeing an acceleration. Why are you the only management who have taken so much time to answer all questions? No, sorry, that was a comment. I mean,
is it like a bad thing or is it like a good thing? No. You are really feeling bad about it? आपको समोसा और चाय लाई है?
He was saying graciously. I just twisted that into a question. A lot of people have twisted questions for us today, so I thought I could also twist a question.
मैं कंफ्यूज हो गया. सॉरी सर, आप सब लोग चाय और समोसे का इंतजार कर रहे हैं. ये कोविड और ये सारे बैंकर लोग हैं ना, इनसे कहना, अपन तो पूरा बजट लेके बैठा हुआ था कि आपको बढ़िया वाला चाय और समोसा खिलाने का है. और मैं तो होता तो मैं दिल्ली से छेना वाली मिठाई भी लेके आता. मतलब समझ रहे हो नहीं कहने का मतलब क्या है? नेट ये है कि कोविड की वजह से आपका भारतों का स्वागत पान पराग से किया जाए, हमारी तरफ से चाय और समोसे से किया जाए, दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. सो सॉरी, आप अपने घर में ऑर्डर करिए चायोस से और कहीं से भी, एंड IOU भेज दीजिए इन्वेस्टमेंट की स्लिप देने के बाद. Free lunches तो होते नहीं है, as you know. In other words,
that's a good question. What makes up most of your time, Vijay, on a typical day?
What makes up for most of time? What takes up most of your time, Vijay, on a typical day? एक्चुअली मैं एक बात बताना चाहता हूँ कि आई एम अ प्रोडक्ट कस्टमर, तो मैं सुबह से शाम तक प्रोडक्ट में लगा रहता हूँ। तो आपने अगर अभी प्रोडक्ट यूआई वर्कफ्लो चेंजेस और वो देखे होंगे तो वो सिग्निफिकेंटली मेरी बैंडविड्थ है। I am a product entrepreneur. In other words, I used to get busy in fundraising, investor meetings, and so on. So Madhur have expanded incredible amount of bandwidth on that. Bhavesh has expanded incredible amount of bandwidth on financial services business, obviously credit. And then teams have come for looking after things that are other things beyond the product. So मेरा काम प्रोडक्ट है सुबह से शाम तक, चाहे वो EDC, POS, QR, साउंड बॉक्स और कंज्यूमर ऐप, मनी ट्रांसफर, यूपीआई और फिर रिचार्ज, बिल पेमेंट, ये सब में मेरा टाइम लगता है। मोस्ट ऑफ टाइम नहीं, नियरली 90% टाइम लगता है। 10% टाइम ये सब जो इधर उधर की बातें होती हैं, जैसे यहाँ पे हम बात कर रहे हैं वो है, और मतलब जो बाकी सारा बिजनेस है। तो प्रोडक्ट इफ इट इज अ गुड प्रोडक्ट यू लव इट, यू गिव मी एक्नॉलेजमेंट। इफ इट इज अ बैड प्रोडक्ट यू डू नॉट लाइक इट, आई एम एक्चुअली द रीजन फॉर इट। I'm actually the reason for it, and I'm continuously asking the product manager को कि आप और expand करो. So bad product bugs or customer care bugs here.
Rishi has shared a comment disguised as a question. Hopefully, you will do quarterly analyst calls and interact with investors and analysts on a regular basis after the IPO? Question mark.
Question mark. ये मुझे समझ में आ रहा है। आपको चाय समोसा हम हमेशा प्रस्तुत करेंगे, आप ऐसा फील मत करो, और आपको अच्छा लगेगा। आप क्वार्टरली आइए, आप 2 महीने, बैंक की बोर्ड मीटिंग तो 2 महीने में होती है मधुर। We just upgraded bank board to have some more people, तो 2 महीने में वहाँ पे ऑब्लिगेशन है। तो आप आइए, बिल्कुल, हम क्यों नहीं करेंगे यार। इट्स अ गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी टू आस्क द क्वेश्चन। हमें समझ में आता है ना कि आप हमारे बारे में क्या सोच रहे हो, नहीं तो हम अखबार पढ़ के सोचते हैं यार पता नहीं जाने क्या सोचते हैं लोग हमारे बारे में। आप जब हमें डायरेक्टली बताते हो तो हमें ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है। You get it? And it is always good.
I'm going to skip Manisha's question because we have answered this. And our transaction through QR code chargeable. कितनी बार समझाएंगे वो? How many merchants use POS or payment gateway? POS or payment gateway. So POS, अगर आप you talk about devices, we have 1.3 million devices. Payment gateways are online offering, which is in tens of thousands.
Correct. इंडिया में तो 1 मिलियन ऑनलाइन मर्चेंट भी नहीं आए होंगे जो साइज।
You mentioned you want to have 500 million customers. By when do you plan to reach that number? Please don't give a forward-looking number.
क्या मैं सवाल ही नहीं सुना है।
You mentioned that you want to have 500 million customers. By when do you plan to reach that number?
वो तो कल परसों का टारगेट था, पीछे निकल गया। वी आर द लूजर्स हु आर नॉट एबल टू डू इट येट यार। आपने पढ़ा नहीं होगा, एफटी और डब्ल्यूएसजे ने तो बोल दिया कि 500 मिलियन बोला था, शर्मा जी ने अभी तक अचीव नहीं किया। इज अ फेलियर। तो एक्चुअली में तो केवाईसी, एएमएल ऑब्लिगेशंस, एंड वी कीप इंक्रीजिंग द सीनियोरिटी ऑफ टाइप ऑफ कस्टमर टू एक्वायर। पहले हमारा था पेमेंट के लिए, फिर हमारा आया बैंक के लिए, अब हमारा आएगा ऑल फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज के लिए। तो ये 500 मिलियन का ना इल्यूसिव टारगेट रहेगा हमारी लाइफ। 500 मिलियन रजिस्ट्रेशन तो हो चुके हैं बाय द वे कस्टमर के, ट्रांजैक्टिंग यूजर नहीं है 500 मिलियन। सो जस्ट इन केस दिस 500 मिलियन इज सॉर्ट ऑफ होता है ना जिंदगी में क्या करना चाहते हैं 500 मिलियन किस तरह के कस्टमर, थोड़ा ये बता दीजिए शर्मा जी, उसके बाद आपको स्वर्ग की प्राप्ति करवाएं तो वो हमारा ना बढ़ता जाएगा। होता है ना ये आदमी को चैन नहीं आएगा टाइप का। Okay, you will be the information provider. KYC is a hurdle for customer to shift to wallet. Can there be any change to make KYC wallet without some limit? सार्थक भाई, ये आरबीआई की रेगुलेशन है, हमारी नहीं। मतलब आप समझ रहे हो। वैसे दैट साइड आरबीआई ने हमें अलाउ कर दिया है कि हम गिफ्ट वाउचर नाम का जो प्रोडक्ट होता है जिसमें कि आप पैसे डालिए और उस पैसे से मर्चेंट को पे करिए, उसके लिए केवाईसी की जरूरत नहीं है, मेन केवाईसी की जरूरत है। यानी आप अपना कोई सा भी आईडी डाल दीजिए, तो उसकी वजह से वॉलेट की ग्रोथ सिग्निफिकेंटली ज्यादा और हो गई है।
Next question, Vijay sir, you rock. You're not a typical promoter / CEO. Homegrown brand like Paytm is so huge today. Best wishes for the IPO. That was not a question, and that's not me saying it. That's just Preet Singh Arora.
Thank you.
Any plans for POS device like Square company from US?
आज मैं आपको एक लाइन बोलना चाहता हूँ भाई लोगों। दीपक, स्क्वायर पेटीएम के जैसा बिजनेस करेगा, पेटीएम स्क्वायर जैसा बिजनेस नहीं करेगा। आपको पता नहीं है, एंड फाइनेंशियल ने चाइना में पेटीएम की तरह क्यूआर लेके गए, स्टोर में लगाया। आपने देखा होगा वो कहते ना वहां पे एक बैगर के साथ में क्यूआर लगा हुआ था और दिखाया जाता था कि चाइना में ऐसे करके पेमेंट होता है। वो पेटीएम से इंस्पायर होकर चाइना गया था। चाइना में से इंस्पायर होकर क्यूआर पेटीएम इंडिया में नहीं आया। इट्स अ शॉकर फॉर एवरीबॉडी टू नो। इन चाइना यू शो क्यूआर एंड शॉपकीपर स्कैन्स। छोटा शॉपकीपर भी ऐसे ही करता है, वो अपना फोन उठा के स्कैन करता है, ठीक है। In India, you scan the QR code. So it is actually what Paytm brought in this country and standardized. In many other Southeast Asian countries, including Japan, we took this payment method. So there is a Paytm method and there is a Chinese method, which is called Show QR. Paytm is the method that is in QR business in the world. Why would I want to be Square when we can be Paytm? बॉस, जब यूएस जाएंगे, आप लोगों ने अगर मदद करी और हमारे बिजनेस की एनर्जी के साथ हमारे रेवेन्यू आए, तो हमारे जो टिकट अर्न होगी उसके बाद यूएस में जाके दिखाएंगे क्या करेंगे। स्क्वायर जैसा पॉस हम क्यों लाएंगे? स्क्वायर हमारे जैसा पहुंच लाएंगे।
लोग थोड़े थक गए हैं, पूरा पूरा क्वेश्चन भी नहीं देख रहे हैं। टोटल स्पेंड्स ऑन इंडियन क्रिकेट इवेंट्स। मैंने फ्रेज देखा है, क्वेश्चन आप खुद बना लो सर। क्वेश्चन भी हमें बना, आंसर भी हमें देंगे, तो गलत हो गया यार।
मेरा तुझको पर अच्छा मनीष भाई, बात ऐसी है कि एक पर क्रिकेट की कॉस्ट अलग अलग है। तो इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम है और एक आईपीएल है, दो अलग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, एक में अंपायर का है और एक में उसका है। तो जो इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम वाला है उसमें मुझे मालूम है कोई 40-44 करोड़
फुल क्रिकेट सीजन, लास्ट एक डेढ़ साल से फुल क्रिकेट सीजन ही हुआ है, मतलब इंडिया मैचेस। तो full cricket season is about 70-75 crores and IPL is about 20-22 crores. So yeah, I mean it's all in our 533 crores that we showed that we spent last year.
Correct. विनोद जी पूछ रहे हैं, अच्छा ऐसा लग रहा है रेडियो स्टेशन पे बात कर रहे हैं। विनोद जी हमें ARPMS से पूछ रहे हैं कि हाउ मच इज द रूरल प्रेजेंस इन टियर 4-5 सिटीज। अभी तो सारी पार्टी बाकी है। मतलब आप ये सोचो कि यू आर लॉकिंग एट टेलीकॉम मार्केट इन अर्ली डेज ऑफ 100-200 मिलियन। हिंट एक्चुअली में 120-114 मिलियन कस्टमर ही तो है हमारे पिछले साल के। तो आप समझ सकते हो, इसमें तो पूरी पार्टी बाकी है, सब लोग। सॉरी रिपीट, हिमानी कह रही है
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you give take rate of POS पेमेंट गेटवे स्पेसिफिकली अदर रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम? मोटा मोटा जब हम POS देते हैं तो हमें सब्सक्रिप्शन फीस भी मिलता है, और पीजी वगैरह में हमें पीजी और POS दोनों में टेक रेट होता है MDR का, जो मैंने आपको बताया कार्ड का और पेटीएम इशूड इंस्ट्रूमेंट का, जो कि स्टैंडर्ड हमने बताया आपको एज अ बिजनेस प्रेजेंटेशन के टिपिकली 1% की रेंज में होता है। What are you looking 3 things from potential investor? Long term value creation, long term ROE, profitability, Paytm model. Boss, Paytm is not a company made to bring dollars in its bag. Paytm is a company that is made to bring the change in financial system of this country. जब इस देश में किसी व्यक्ति को बैंक अकाउंट खोलने जाने से डरना है, क्योंकि आपको पता है ना हमारे देश में बैंक अकाउंट को क्या बोलते हैं? हमारे देश का बैंक अकाउंट भी खाता है। जब ये चेंज आ जाएगा ना, 0% का है हमारा बैंक अकाउंट, हमारे देश का बैंक अकाउंट भी खाता है। जिस दिन हमारे बैंक अकाउंट की सब जगह पे प्रचार प्रसार हो जाएगी ना, सारी बैंक जीरो कर देंगी उस पैसे के फीस, तब तक हमारे कस्टमर एक्वायर नहीं हुए होंगे। We are here to bring the change in financial system in this country, my friend, where the customer is a king and the customer does not fear. I repeat, customer does not fear कि मैं बैंक अकाउंट खोलूं, मैं म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करूं। आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोग PMS करते हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड करते हैं। आपको पता है, मैं ना उत्तर प्रदेश में अलीगढ़ से आया हूं, मेरी फैमिली में किसी के पास म्यूचुअल फंड अभी भी नहीं होगा शायद, मेरी एज में तो था ही नहीं। मुझे तो पता नहीं चलता था 2 पेज अखबार के कहाँ खर्च हो जाते थे, हर कंपनी के आगे कुछ नंबर लिखे होते थे। और पता है क्यों? क्योंकि आपने अगर म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसे डाल दिए और आपको जिंदगी में पैसे चाहिए तो पहले चुंगी चुकाओ। आपको पता है पेमेंट 0% MDR क्यों करता हूं? किसी को डर नहीं लगना चाहिए कि पेमेंट लेने में खर्चा हो जाएगा। आपको पता है बैंक में 0% चार्ज क्यों है? किसी को डर नहीं लगना चाहिए कि बैंक में पैसे रख दिए तो निकाले जाएंगे। आपको पता है 0% पे वेल्थ डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन क्यों करेंगे? क्योंकि किसी को डर नहीं लगना चाहिए कि मेरा पैसा जब मेहनत करे तो मेरे पैसे की मेहनत को कोई और खा जाए। आपको पता है इंश्योरेंस में हम 0% क्यों रखते हैं? म्यूचुअल फंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में 0% क्यों रखते हैं? क्योंकि जब फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज कस्टमर की सर्विस के लिए बनी होती हैं तो कस्टमर को वो चांटा नहीं मारते कि मेरे को पैसे दे पहले जाने से, उल्टा वो उसको इंक्लूड करते हैं। When the customer understands that this financial service is welcoming me to become part of itself and want to serve me, that time those financial services will not be made to sneak out charges. And till that time the change will happen, the Paytm mission will not be complete. You as potential shareholder are joining a mission of this company. You're not joining a stock which will flip and make money. I wish it gives you tons of money and आपकी लाइफ का बेस्ट स्टॉक बने, लेकिन मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं मुझे लॉन्ग टर्म शेयर होल्डर जो इस कंपनी के मिशन को सपोर्ट करें वो चाहिए। और मैं कभी फंड रेजिंग करने गया था तो मैंने वैल्यूएशन की डिस्कशन नहीं करी थी। हर बड़े आदमी को मैंने बोला था सर देश में ना फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज नहीं पहुंची देश के पास। आपको लगता है इकोनॉमी बड़ी होगी तो किस दिन बड़ी होगी? जब फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज बड़े आदमी की नहीं होंगी, छोटे आदमी की भी होंगी। जिस टाइम पे फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज हर आदमी की होंगी, ना बड़ा आदमी ना छोटा आदमी, उस टाइम पे देश बड़ा होगा। और जब देश बड़ा होगा ना तब आप बड़े होंगे। आप अगर सोच रहे हो कि अपने पैसे बड़े बना के बड़े बन जाओगे, वो नहीं बड़े बनोगे दोस्त। बाहर निकलोगे तो आपकी चेन खींच ले जाएंगे, आपकी कार को छीन के ले जाएंगे। यू विल लिव अ रिच लाइफ व्हेन एवरीबॉडी इज रिचर। बस that will be the day.
I think that's a really good note to end the call on, Vijay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That was definitely inspiring for everyone. Thank you, everyone, for showing interest in knowing more about the company, its leadership, its future potential. I would now like to call upon Mr. Samarth Jagani from Morgan Stanley to make the closing speech before we end today's webinar.
Thank you, Vijay, Madhur, Bhavesh, Vikas, and team. This is by far the most engaging and the most productive broker analyst meet that the teams would have ever attended. I think you've answered close to 100 questions. I don't think you've ever answered more than 10 or 12 questions. And you've taken care of pretty much everyone there. I think the chat box is showing everyone loved this. And just missing out on having done this session in person, I think we would have continued far past midnight with the questions and with the just general chat. So just really missing that. It would have been great, especially in Mumbai. We would have all gathered around Marine Drive because there'll be a rush of people, which is where these events generally happen. And Madhur is now reminiscing about those days. But yeah, thank you very much. It was fantastic and lovely. And kind of thank you everyone to the participants for joining us here today. We look forward the kind of refreshing perspective which Vijay and Madhur and Bhavesh and team have shared, and the candidness with which they answered their questions. Hope that resonates very well with you, and you join us in this journey ahead as Paytm goes on to Dalal Street and becomes a publicly listed company. Thank you very much for all your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jagani. Esteemed audience, we've now come to the end of the webinar. We look forward to your participation and support on making this initial public offering a great success. Wishing you all a great day. Keep safe and Jai Hind.
Jai Singh, Jai Hind, and everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Recording stopped.